Call the Human Services Committee to order. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. The chair will entertain a motion.
Support.
Thank you, Commissioner Snell and Commissioner Williams. Any questions with respect to the agenda? All those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next is public comment. Public comment is now open. Public comment is open. Last call for public comment. Public comment is now closed. We'll move on to committee items. The first item is approval of last month's minutes. The chair will entertain a motion. Thank you, Commissioner Snell and Commissioner Bear. Any questions with respect to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Now we're on to the Lifeways quarterly report. I see its director and two of its senior people here. Glad to have you. If you would introduce your staff, that would be nice, Mary Beth. Thank you.
No, if you just press the button on it. Thank you.
Yeah, I see that
Perfect.
says push. Okay. It's easy enough. So I do want to introduce, and good afternoon, everybody. I do want to introduce two of my executive staff who are part of succession development with Lifeways. And I have Cassie Watson, who is our executive director who oversees our integrated health clinic as well as our outpatient services. So this is Cassie Watson. And I also have here with me David Lowe, who is our executive director overseeing crisis and access services.
Thank you and welcome. We'll try to be easy on Mary Beth in front of you.
All right, so I want to cover a couple of things, and then I'm going to, as part of development, I'm going to pass something to David to present on for all of you. First, I do want to give you an update about the Hillsdale building project. So we've been in the process of securing a new site in Hillsdale, and we have secured the piece of property and are now in the process of evaluating and doing stacked financing, if you will, around financing the project, looking at a commercial loan as well as the fair market new tax credits, and also looking at, it's still in the pipeline, federal appropriations for fiscal year 25. And then depending on how all of that pans out, we may also be going back to the county in support of a bond. So that's kind of the update for the Hillsdale site. I did want to address, and again, this packet came to you some time ago, so there's been some changes since I presented, and I think it's important to kind of talk about one of the significant issues that are being faced across Michigan. Am I too close? I'm sorry. It does pick up. Okay, all right, thank you. Because it doesn't sound like that standing here, so okay. An update relative to the financing challenges in the state of Michigan. In your report, you'll see, and I have talked about it in the past, when the public health emergency ended in 2024, over the course of the year, individuals on Medicaid had to be redetermined for eligibility, and then over the course of the year, individuals have kind of fallen off Medicaid eligibility over the past year. This impacts many organizations in our community, but significantly impacts the public mental health system as it relates to a loss in our region of about 100,000 individuals that had Medicaid eligibility and now they do not. We've been working and advocating at a statewide level but what's important to know, while the eligibles went down, the demand for services hasn't gone down. And so that does create a challenge. And we've been working with the state around advocacy around the rates and how the state determines the rates and takes into consideration the needs of local communities and the needs. And so that's happening. But do be aware that that is a challenge, and I anticipate with a lot of the potential federal things on the horizon that this is, could be even a bigger challenge in the months and the years to come. But we are navigating that, and as we continue to know more, we will continue to keep you informed as it relates to the impact locally. And with that, I do want to pass on to kind of highlight some of the great work that's occurring in our community around crisis services for David Lowe to speak to you on that.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our goal is simply to expand mobile crisis services for members. And see, and I'm the opposite there. All right, wonderful. Thank you. All right, no, you're good. So our goal is to expand services for the members of our county and provide mobile crisis responders across the various areas of the county. One of the ways in which we're planning to do this coming year, we've begun those processes over this past FY24, is to expand the availability and access of individual callers in crisis being able to reach a particular Lifeway staff person, to reduce the reliance upon call centers to dispatch calls into our queue and to instead route those into our crisis hub. 3 months ago, we began an initiative to pull back our weekend hours. So on the weekend days, Saturdays and Sundays, if you make a phone call to our 1-800 crisis line, you get a Lifeway staff person in crisis that can aid and assist you. We're looking to expand and continue those efforts with an annual goal to absorb 100% of crisis callers coming into what's going to be called a crisis hub. Crisis hub is a new term. And what that means is we're looking at centralizing the ability to dispatch and mobilize teams from that hub center. We really want to expedite the ability to respond within an hour within the city limits so that we can get somebody on site. We've done so with expansions of children in our schools that are in crisis and our ICSS teams. We've expanded and have better relationships with the schools. We're also, in most cases, involved in all of the critical incident responses, which I'm sure you have all been made aware of. The other thing that we've done successful this past year is we've really opened up the availability of a CIT clinician to be embedded with local city law enforcement, and that's been successful in a number of different instances across the county. We even expanded the CIT response to after hours, and we've responded to some pretty significant things that historically officers were either alone to respond or a crisis team member was alone to respond. We've done so in partnership. We've reduced risk and we've reduced violent outcomes, which over the course of the last 3 years, having been around Jackson County and you all as well, you're aware of some of those incidents that have occurred. We're very pleased and we're going to continue to expand those services, but it does require a centralized call center. We want to know about crisis in the area and we want to get to those folks. This coming year, we're going to be in continued discussions and talks with the development of certification criteria, expansions of rules through MDHHS partnership to make those things more accessible for the members of the community. And so with that, I wanted to provide that as a brief overview. Take it from me, I'm very happy and pleased with what outcomes we're able to report on, which again is ultimately getting folks the help that they need and reducing significant risks to community members. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Were there any questions?
Mr. Chair.
Good afternoon, Mary Beth.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Your representative spoke about the city proper. I hope that we're reaching all of Jackson County, not just the city, when we're doing our crisis management, because we have people beyond the city limits that we have issues with also. I just hope that he just happened to be a conversation piece that he was using the city to determine all of Jackson County.
Yeah, what he's referring to there, and I anticipate that that's going to grow relative to having a partnership with the city and having a mental health clinician who is embedded in the city within the department. They are actually covering the cost associated with that. we do see that partnership expanding, and we already do co-responses with other departments within Jackson County, with the sheriff's office, and it isn't just the city. Yeah.
Any further questions for Lifeways? I will draw members' attention to the fact that next month we will appoint a commissioner member of the Lifeways Board, and I think two other, I want to
Yes.
say two other public and/or consumer
Yep.
members. So those will be coming up at next month's meeting. Okay, we've already received one application. I'm sure there will be more.
Okay.
So the chair will entertain a motion to receive the report. Thank you, Commissioner Williams and Commissioner Willis. Any questions? All those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. We'll move on to the medical care facility, and Madam Director is here. Thank you. And one of your board members, I see, Mr. Price.
Yes, good afternoon. I do not have a written report for you today, but I am going to just share the numbers from the December financials along with a couple good news items. So for December financials, revenue was $2,432,640, which was $279,698 behind budget. Expenses were $2,899,396, which was $178,421 behind budget. The net position overall for the month of December was negative $466,756, which was behind budget by negative $458,119. Census for the month of December was a real struggle for us. We've seen a lot of illness during the month of December, and we had a fair amount of residents that left and went home for the holidays, so our census was behind budget by 12.81 bed days. We did have 35 admissions and 36 discharges in the month of December. That brings the 2024 financials year-to-date revenue at $30,161,720, which was $255,787 more than budget. Expenses were $31,702,583, which was $1,100,690 behind budget, with a change in net position from non-operating income, and this includes that repayment back to Medicaid that we've talked about. The actual was negative $4,616,684, which was pretty much all of that behind budget. So we did anticipate that with that change of having to pay that, earmark that money to go back to Medicaid. At this time, we still have not seen an invoice for that. Overall census for 2024 was 3.7 bed days behind budget. We had a total of 453 admissions and 449 discharges. And I do want to make a note that this number, and I think I've mentioned this in the last couple months, this number of admissions and discharges, we're seeing an increase in that from year-over-year totals. And we're seeing an increase in that in January as well. So, so now that we've concluded 2024, just a little bit on 2025. The census as of today is 181. Our budgeted census is 183, so we're just a little bit behind budget on that. However, if all the admissions we're expecting today come in, we should be at 186. So the last time I said that, then they didn't all come in. So knock on wood, pray, cross your fingers that that all works out the way it's supposed to today. So for the month of January, we did 59 admissions, which is almost double what we've done in previous months. So we've really been working hard on some changes in the admissions office. On the revenue side, we're just also seeing that change on the discharge side as well. We have people that are getting better faster and ready to go home. And so now the churn is just moving at a faster pace. So we're working on finding that balance. A little bit of additional information. So our AR days remain outside of our goal by 1 day. We did decrease that from last month by 1 day. So our goal is 54 days and we're at 55 days. Days cash on hand is estimated at 27 days, which is actually one cash on hand day better than last month. And that does not include the money that's earmarked for repayment to Medicaid, which is $3.6 million, which is still sitting in the account. So we've just discounted that off of that number, or any funds that are currently invested or MOE funds, which is approximately $3.8 million in additional funds. Our MOE usage for 2025 is projected to be about $168,000, and that'll be for the bond interest payment in November that we typically request. And then we did approve a budget for 2025. So just to give you a brief overview of what that budget looks like, we're looking at an estimated operating revenue of $31,005,796. Operating expenses are budgeted at $30,775,054. Operating income before interest and depreciation is $230,741. Now, once you include the interest and depreciation, that does take us into a negative change in net assets. But overall, the negative change in cash flow at the end of this looks like negative $453,259, which is 5.3 days cash on hand. So we do have that available. I thought maybe breaking that out into days cash on hand would be helpful for you. We also have $350,000 for capital expenditures, and that is all covered through our funded depreciation account. And so it doesn't impact the overall operations budget. A few other non-financial items I just wanted to share with you. I did mention in December we had a fair amount of illnesses. We're seeing that again in January. We've seen norovirus through the facility. We're seeing quite a few cases of influenza A amongst both our care partners and our residents, and now we're back to having some COVID. So really some challenges with the wintertime illnesses going on right now. So we just want to keep you informed of that, and also typically we see these when those numbers are high in the community as well. So stay safe, wash your hands. But on a higher note, our annual survey, we just had our annual survey, and that took place January 21st through the 27th. And that is the best annual survey that we've had to date. So we're very excited about that. We did have 8 minor citations that we do have to fix, but overall, going back through the last decade, that's the best survey that we've had. So that's very encouraging. I think I might have shared this with you last month, but our overall turnover rate for 2024 was 27.22%, which is a 26.25% reduction from 2023. So we've cut it in almost half. So, yes, over half. So that's pretty exciting to see. And then I shared about the number of admissions in January. So I think that concludes my report. Any questions?
Questions for the medical care facility? I will draw members' attention to the fact that you're going to have a cash crunch at some point when we get the billing for the past revenues, right? I mean, if we see the cash balance at the end of December at 7.6 million, but you've got almost 6 million worth of accrued liabilities that are going to come out, it's going to be difficult at some point cash-wise.
Yeah, it's all going to come, it's all going to be based on the cadence in which those things come. But yes, there is the potential to have that crunch for sure.
Right. Any changes in your financial management there at the medical care facility?
So we are working on looking for a new accountant at this time. And so that is in process.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Williams, please.
Mr. Chair, in reference to your last comment, is that going to be, are you looking to do like an inside hire? Or are you accepting applications, anything like that?
So right now, we're looking for somebody to contract with temporarily. Because of some of the challenges financially, we don't have quite as much to work with to be able to bring in a hire. So we're really trying to figure out what avenue is going to be best. We're open to both options, but we haven't opened up applications at this time.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion to receive the report. Thank you, Commissioner Bear and Commissioner Williams. All those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Destiny. And for members' attention, I think, Destiny, we've got you on a monthly reporting until we kind of get past this crisis, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll be here next month.
Very good. We'll look forward to seeing you. And now MSU Extension Memorandum of Understanding, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I have before you today a request for signing our 2025 Memorandum of Agreement with MSU Extension. Since 2011, this is something we come before you every year to do. We always wait until your budget process is finalized because we're included in the general fund. And so what you see before you is 102,683, and that is the same amount that was approved in our budget in the general fund for contractual services.
And this is consistent with our budgeting, Mr. Administrator? This is consistent with our budgeting, the MOA? I'm sorry, you were engaged otherwise. The question is whether the agreement is consistent with our budget so that we can confidently approve it.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, very good.
Mr. Chair, if there's no further question, I'll offer motion to accept, or to pass on the full board, excuse me.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Is there support? Thank you, Commissioner Willis. There is a motion and support to recommend the agreement to the full board. All those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, and I'll be back next month as well for my biannual report.
We'll look forward to seeing you. Thanks, Mary. And now, Danielle with the Department on Aging. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Just to begin the report for this month, I just wanted to take the time to kind of reflect back on the services that we've been doing in the community. And this is reflective of our grant program. So our grant programs, of course, start October 1st and will go through September 30th. So my first couple highlights are just things that have occurred over the first quarter of our grant fiscal year. And when you look at the number of homebound older adults receiving home-delivered meals, we had 713 individuals across Jackson County. And our kitchen team, which we have a fabulous kitchen team, and drivers, you think of everything involved when you deliver the meal. It's not just the kitchen team, it is the drivers that are doing all those safety checks as well. 74,601 meals were provided. So it's a lot of service that's going out there in the community. On top of that, this is just the grant numbers. We also do some contract work with the Medicaid waiver program with Wellwise Services as well as with Tomei Pace. And if you added those numbers in there, it went up to 87,717 meals across Jackson County within that program. And 837 people received the service. One of the programs that I really like to highlight, I always talk about our senior center and the different activities that are going on. In that first quarter of the grant year, you see that 866 people visited the Crouch Senior Center, which means they participated in some type of program, whether that's an activity like exercise, one of our dances, playing cards, doing bingo, a variety of activities, all the educational classes that we offer, whether we're partnering with MSU Extension or Wellwise Services, again, making those connections with individuals in our community. 229 people received a home support. So that could be where somebody's going out every other week and providing some homemaking services to help that older adult live safely in their home. Also providing personal care, which could be hands-on shower or somebody that just needs that support getting in and out of the tub, as well as then respite care, where you're supporting caregivers in the community that can no longer leave their loved ones safely alone, and maybe they need somebody to come in like 3 or 4 hours a week and provide that alternate caregiver so that the regular caregiver can get out and do shopping, tend to appointments, take care of their own health. So those services are being provided across Jackson County. And then we had 434 older adults visit one of our congregate sites. So whether they're coming to the Crouch Senior Center, they're going out to Spring Arbor, they're at Norville, Napoleon, the King Center. Again, those people are dining, connecting with us, and just kind of building on those natural supports that we often talk about, making those friendships and connecting with others. There are definitely other services that we provide, whether that's helping with install a grab bar. We do some support with mental health as far as counseling services. Those are on a little bit smaller scale, but these are some of our larger programs. We're working with ARP on coordinating a couple shred days. We know it's always important, and individuals in our community like to take care of their personal information. They worry about things getting, gone through their trash, or things getting exposed, like their social security information, their billing and things like that. And they kind of like are saving all that information up. And so we're working with ARP on 2 shred days. We're targeting April and September. And the nice part is ARP wants to be a collaborator with us, and they're going to actually pay for the shred day. And we're kind of just being that host site. So again, engaging with the older adults and just making sure that opportunity is available. So more to come as that develops, and we'll share those dates with you. And when we look back, each year, March is kind of a month where they highlight the nutrition programs, across the nation. And one of the things that they're focused on this year is the theme is called The Place at the Table. And this is for people are coming together through the congregate sites, and also, with the home delivered meal programs, and just highlighting the importance of our nutrition programs and the benefits that they have in our community. So we'll be highlighting that within our newsletter, and just kind of doing some special activities at our congregate sites, making people more aware of those opportunities in the community to dine with others. In the past, we've participated in something called Project Fresh. There's some changes that are coming about with that program. Definitely kind of getting up to speed with thinking about how to improve access and to make it more available as far as doing like an online component. So in the past, when people would come to the Department on Aging, we'd have like a set day. You come in and we'll help you fill out your application, and you receive the coupon books. And there would be the $25 worth of coupons that they could use at the local farmers markets. And what the state is doing this year is they are opening it up so that people can apply online. We will not have the books at the center anymore, so you have to apply online, and you will actually be able to have something downloaded on your phone, or if you don't have that capability, you can get a card mailed to your home that you would be able to then take to that farmer, and they could, scan it as a way to get reimbursed for the service that they're providing. The main thing I think that we're going to see challenged for our older adults is if they don't have those capabilities. And so we are going to have our computer lab, which we have at the Crouch Center. We do have volunteers, and staff would be there to help assist individuals. We still have some questions about logistics, like usually we get like maybe about 120, 130 coupon books a year. And I think that knowing that the availability where people can just go and apply whenever they have the time to do that, I think they're going to go much quicker. So I don't know if some of the people that we've assisted before with that will have an opportunity. Hopefully their families will help them apply, or they can get to the center quickly and apply for those, because there's only a certain number of books. It's not like an endless pot of funds. So we have some questions about how will people know when the coupons are used up. Is it just when they apply online and it says we're filled, or if they're going to create waiting list? We're just not sure. So we're having some more meetings on that this week. So as we progress with that, I'll provide updates. But it is a big change for past participants. And I'm open to any
Commissioner
questions.
Willis has a question.
Actually, just want to give a thank you. When I learned last week that some of our local organizations have been affected by the temporary freeze that have been put in place, had a chance to speak with Danielle. I actually harassed her in a grocery store, but to find out that it didn't affect our local Meals on Wheels, having been at Martin Luther King Center, where you have one of your congregate meal sites, I understand that these are not just meals, but this is really sometimes the only meaningful social meeting for these seniors, and they really, really look forward to it. So I was bothered greatly to learn that some other local organizations have been affected, but when you assured me that our Meals on Wheels were good and the programs will still continue, it meant a lot. So we appreciate what you do, and we trust we're able to continue to do that regardless of what goes on anywhere else. We appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So Danielle, I see the AARP Shred Day, and then you got Soups On, don't you, next month? Isn't that Soups On for
Yes,
seniors
I always
next month?
talk about Soups On because I think it's such a great program. So I didn't want to bombard you with it again this month, but planning is definitely going very well, and I'll definitely highlight it next month. But we have been getting continued sponsorships. We are selling tickets, and we have some great auction items. ARP actually coordinated a grill basket, so we'll have a black stone with utensils and seasonings, and hopefully adding to that some kind of a meat market package to go with it. So a couple different things than in the past, with having some live auctions as well as the silent auction. So we're pretty excited.
If you've got something, a little placard or something, digital placard that is, for the Shred Day and for Soups On, if you could get something that's easy for folks like me who are not very good at putting on their Facebook page.
Okay.
That would be wonderful. I would try to get it to all commissioners so they can have it to their Facebook pages. People seem to pay attention to those from time to time, so.
I definitely can do the Soups On sooner than later.
Okay.
But once we know the dates for sure on the upcoming Shred Day, we'll get that to you as well.
Okay, perfect. Any further questions? Chair will entertain a motion to receive the report. Thank you, Commissioner Willis and Commissioner Williams. All those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Danielle. And now the Health Department. Welcome.
Happy to be here today while Kristen's gone meeting her grandbaby in Japan. She made it safe, so that's good news.
Did you say in Japan?
In Japan, yes.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
in Japan. It was quite the travel. I think she said like 14 hours, so. Yes, yeah. been-
Okay, it is a long haul, yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah, so I don't have a whole lot of new information for you, so I'm just going to take this opportunity to highlight a few of our programs that we support. Currently, our Teen Pregnancy Prevention Initiative, there's a high school and middle school program that falls under that, are well underway in the schools this year. One of the things that I think is really unique and interesting about this program is that the students have the opportunity to provide community service or have community service learning during the program. So recently, our high schoolers created care kits and provided them to the interfaith shelter, which was a really cool opportunity for those students. Under our health education for opioid use, we are starting the overdose fatality review team, and our interest meeting will begin next week. I'm really excited to see what information and insight that brings to our community and what more we can do with the resources provided there. One of the programs that we've had that's run for roughly the last 3 years or 4 years since COVID is our Health Resource Advocate program. This program has really grown. It's very interesting because in the beginning it was really focused on COVID specific activities, but it had to be related to K through 12 population. And in the past 2 to 3 years, they've really opened up the funding to be able to be used for a lot of other initiatives. So we've been able to do some vaping education, nutrition, and physical activity. We have a communicable disease education that we do within the schools, and this has really taken, really expanded our opportunity to educate the students in the community. Vaping is a huge concern for a lot of the schools and a lot of the teachers. So it's really given us the opportunity to kind of step in and support with that education. One of the programs I'm going to highlight is our Concord School Wellness Program. This is our first full year of implementation out at Concord. It's a nurse and mental health provider that are actually housed right in the school. They're in the middle school wing, so they have a lot of visitors from the middle school students. But so far, just this year in Q1, we've seen 165 unduplicated students, and we've had 522 visits. And those visits are like official number visits, not the stop-in students who are just saying hi throughout the day. But they're really working alongside the Concord schools to invest and meet the needs of the students out there. So it's been really neat to see this program flourish.
Now that's your program, not the Center for Family Health, who also do something similar, I think, at some of the schools.
Correct. Yeah, that's a health department program.
Okay.
Yep. Our hearing and vision team, just really want to highlight, there's 5 ladies who go out into the community and they reach all of our schools, all of our Head Starts, all of our preschools. And so far, their numbers are school year, and so far this year for vision, they've screened 4,043 students with a 19% refer rate. And for our hearing, they've screened over just a little over 2,000 students with a 4% screen rate. So those numbers, those referral rates really just show you why we have the importance of this program. We're really capturing students who have vision and hearing impairments and getting them to the resources that they need. Additionally, our oral health assessment program, just for Q1, we've done 386 assessments. Our decay rate is roughly 25% here in the county. The positive news of that is our urgent rate is less than 1%, which is a good news. I know Kristen last month brought our Barry Eaton opportunity to you all. And so far, we've already had 7 schools within the Barry Eaton County areas schedule with us. So that will be up and running here very, very soon. Kristen has also highlighted recently our health educator who's been working on outreach. Right here is a little example of how she's trying to be creative and engaging more of our community and making some of our posts and outreach fun. You can also kind of check out the Spotify. There's 2 ads that ran. Most recently, our Radon ad and the reach for that. And then she's done a little bit of a video on Instagram, which is really interesting, showing how we refill some of the naloxone units out at the rest areas here within the county. But she's doing a really great job at getting creative. Both our personal preventative health teams and our environmental health teams continue to do great work as well. Our immunization team is working on gearing up for supporting the kindergarten roundups. And then same with our environmental health team with spring inspections. And I think that's all I have.
Questions for the Health Department? Carry on the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing it. The chair will entertain a motion to receive the report. Thank you, Commissioner Williams, Commissioner Bear. All those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We'll move on now to claims. Chair will entertain a motion to pay the claims. Commissioner Williams and Commissioner Bear. Commissioner Bear, did you get I think you were the last one to sign. You've got that? Not yet. Oh. I'm sure it's down there, so, okay. All those in favor of paying the claims will please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Members, please take note of other minutes for the DHHS. They had a couple of special board meetings recently, and the VA meeting minutes. Take note also of the reporting schedule for next month. We have the DHHS, we have MSU Extension, the Department on Aging, as usual, Health Department, as usual, and the Medical Examiner's Office. We're now to public comment. Public comment is now open. Is there public comment? Any public comment? Last call for public comment. Public comment is now closed. Committee member comments? Committee member comments. Seeing none,